So it managed to leak 4 quarts of engine oil out in our 10-mile drive. It was from basically extreme high of the quickest pass, all the high fives, to now, crap, we drove 10 miles and cars broke down on the side of the road. Like, this is not going well. I looked at Jim and was like, we're fixing this tonight no matter what it takes. Like, start unhooking the trailer and get the tools out.
We're fine. Everything's fine.
Hey guys, Brett LaSala here with the Snot Rocket. Last week on Sick Week, we took first place in Modified. We took third place overall. We took the quickest forward. We managed to set the quickest drag radial pass ever on a drag and drive and the quickest average for a drag radial car on a drag and drive. Now we're going to take you on our journey and let you guys in on the adventure we had throughout this week. So Sick Week 2023, decided to do this race actually like pretty much beginning of the year. January, we got done racing World Cup and a few things last year. We were gonna pull the engine, bring it to Joe, have him go through it because this was our stage 4 engine with aluminum rod, which we haven't ran before. So we're gonna check it out and kind of freshen it up for this coming year. So the car is Mustang, obviously. It's 3,000 pounds race weight that's with me in it. We run a 275, 28-inch Mickey Thompson drag radial tire. The engine is a Ford Coyote built by Fast Forward Racing Engines. This is our stage 4 engine, has aluminum rods. The car's made 2,500 horsepower on the hub dyno at 48 pounds of boost, which is boost level we race it at. Has precision twin 7680 next gen R turbos, turbo smart wastegates and blow off valves. Has plasma man intake and intercooler. Runs on 1 ethanol fuel. Uses Rife sensors throughout the whole car. The car probably has 60 sensors on it. Front to back, that gives us all the data and why we can make the car so quick. Joe Spetter was a huge help with the car and continues to be with analyzing the data, getting the right settings, getting the right tune in the car. And like we're working on it every night. People don't really realize the time that goes into a car like this. It's never leaves your mind. Pretty much every day, every night, you're thinking of ways to make it better. We're looking at data to find things that you can change on it. I decided to do Sick Week to just kind of a personal challenge for myself, and we built the car to do a drag and drive. So we wanted to show that the platform, the engine we're running is 2,500 horsepower on the hub dyno. It can drive and run just like a normal engine because it has a lot of stock parts on it. I mean, stock water pump, stock alternator, all the stuff that just goes into a normal Mustang. The car is obviously set up to be quick and be fast at the drag strip, but also that it can operate like a normal car. We signed up also with our buddy Pablo, who I work with his Integra, his front wheel drive Integra. When we prepared together, we went, did some testing, driving on the street. We were pretty much ready to go. So we got in testing day, went smooth, got teched in, tested, no big deals there. And then started day 1, which was pretty much a full day 1, probably the most eventful day of the week for sure. So we got in, got set up, got in the staging lanes. I was, pretty early in the staging lanes. I tend to like to be out there ready to go. And we had a fast tune in the car. So the thing with Sick Week and normal drag racing is there's always a strategy to drag racing to your qualifying and then to your rounds. With Sick Week, it's a little different because, or like any drag and drive, it's a week long. You're not racing the person next to you, you're getting an average. And the class that I'm in, the fastest average of the week wins the week. But you also have to drive the car 1,000 miles. So it's 5 days, 5 racing events, and 1,000 miles in between there. And if you don't make it to the end, you just lose, you're out, right? My plan, my strategy was to hit the ground running, run as fast as we can for the first couple days to kind of set ourselves up for the rest of the week and kind of have the competition chasing us, hopefully. We knew there were some heavy hitters in the class. Miguel with his Volvo, Cletus with his El Camino. We weren't gonna have it easy by no means.
Yeah, 652 at 212. Let's freaking go. Yeah, buddy.
So Orlando first pass, we went out. Car went 652 at 215, which was a personal best for the car. It was amazing. We were high-fiving. The guys come over, media guys come over, tell us that's the quickest drag radial pass ever on a drag and drive. So I mean, as you can imagine, we're pretty excited. No one else. I think the next closest pass was Garrett, and he went 670. So we already have a 2/10 lead first pass. Quickest drag radial pass ever on a drag and drive, ready to go. So at that point, we're not going to run the car again. So basically, you hand in one time slip a day. Okay, so you can run the car as many times as you can fit in. It's kind of just like open running for your groups A, B, and then C. So if you can fit in 4 runs, you can run your car 4 times. So then you would take your best time slip, hand that in. When you hand your time slip in, you then get the directions and the map to the next track because you have to follow their route, stop at checkpoints to get to the next track. So you have a time window to do that in. So part of the strategy is, do I want to run the car again? Do I want to get on the road? You want to check the traffic to see what time of day you're driving in and things like that. With that pass being the quickest pass a car ever made, we knew that was a great start. We didn't want to go any faster. We didn't want to run the car anymore. So we started switching it over to street mode. At that point, our boy Pablo was up to run in his class and broke both his axles on the starting line.
Literally broke the shaft inside of that cup. That thing was hooking. It's about to be a 60 foot as good as Brett's if it would have hooked.
It was a sad moment to the high moment, but it was like, no big deal. I got spare axles with me because, the axles he runs, he knows that could have happened. So we hang out. He changes the axles. Now the line is really long. The day's getting a little later. We're packed up, ready to go. Me and Jim Braun, my co-pilot, and my crew for the week. We were waiting for Pablo. He's like, "Oh, go ahead." And I'm like, "No, man. Like we're riding together through this whole week. I'm gonna wait for you. Make your pass, and we'll get on the road later. It's early. We got all day." Then the car started to break. Oil downs, failures. Like hours are going by, and we're kind of just like looking at each other like, all right, we got a long drive ahead of us. We haven't even driven this car that far ever, right? So Pablo up again, leaves first, second, shifts third, and another axle failure. So he comes back around, and me and Jim were like, man, we were just like, yeah, he's my boy. We're not gonna leave him. We're gonna wait for him. And he came back around, I'm like, Pablo, we're gonna have to leave you, bud. So he had another axle come into the track, and then me and Jim got on the road. It's like 6 o'clock now, so we knew we had a 4-hour drive or so to Bradenton. We get out of the track, we get on the highway. It's all oil temp, like kind of creeping up a little bit, not hot, but just like 10 degrees hotter than it normally is. I'm like, let's pull over and get some gas and just see how things are. He gets around to the back of the car. He's like, there's oil everywhere. I'm like, what do you mean there's oil everywhere? There's oil leaking everywhere out of the back of the car. And I was like, there's no oil in the back of the car. Come to find out, the fuel pump drive cable was leaking oil from where it attaches to the oil pump on the back of the engine through the drive cable and leaking out of the back of the cable in the trunk because we disconnect the cable drive from the fuel pump to street drive on the electric pump. So it managed to leak 4 quarts of engine oil out in our 10-mile drive. At that point, we're a little defeated. We're like, crap, like I'm trying to think how this can happen, what part has failed. The oil pumps kind of come all assembled there, so I never had it actually disassembled to even know what the seal looks like that's leaking through the cable. It was from basically extreme high of the quickest pass, all the high fives, to now, crap, like, social media is blowing up. We have the quickest drag and drive car ever in history. We drove 10 miles and cars broke down on the side of the road. Like, this is not going well. I looked at Jim and was like, we're fixing this tonight, no matter what it takes. Like, start unhooking the trailer and get the tools out. We're in a 7-Eleven parking lot because part of the rules of drag and drive is you can't get the car towed. You're allowed to fix it. You can repair it. You can like take a cab or go get parts or whatnot, but you can't tow the car. Car can only be worked on if it's driven under its own power. They'll allow you to tow it off the road if you broke down on a highway and it's not safe. But we were in a 7-Eleven parking lot with a hotel next to it. We had a decent amount of space. Tear the whole car down. I pull the dry sump off the engine. Pull the adapter off the back, and there's a simple O-ring in there. The seal isn't that big a deal. So then we kind of scrambled. We found an O-ring, had to go to a couple places, get the car back together, and now it's midnight. And we still have to drive to Bradenton. Finished our drive to Bradenton. We got in about 3 a.m. that morning. We're both pretty tired. We hit the bed, wake up at 6 a.m. to then, go to Bradenton, the next track, which our hotel or our house was pretty close to that. So we get to Bradenton the next day, You know, cars, check the O-ring again, nothing's leaking. We're back on track. We're good to go. You know, one little part, 10-cent part, almost cost us the whole event, but we got it fixed and we're ready, you know, to finish this competition. So it just loaded the same exact tune in it for Bradenton that I ran the day before. Get up into the lanes and 655, I think it was at like almost 216. Like another ridiculously fast run. Started watching the rest of the competitors, you know, seeing where they land. Second place competitor ran another 670, so we're feeling pretty good about that. Third place competitor was having some engine problems, so he was actually, you know, running in the low 7-second range. So we had a decent lead on him. So we're like, okay, let's pack this up again and then hit the road. We leave Bradenton. Now this is the longest drive of the trip. We're now going to South Georgia Motorsports Park in Valdosta. It took us 8 hours to get to Valdosta. Basically, we kind of took some back roads, you know, got in some traffic, this and that, you know, only with 3 hours or 2.5 hours sleep the night before racing, and now a long 8-hour drive. We get to Georgia like 10 p.m. or so, you know, and check the car over. Everything looks fine, so we're cool. Go to bed, wake up the next day to race to Georgia. Pull into Georgia, start switching the car over, and then Keith, the tech guy, comes up and he's like, Brett, I got to talk to you about something. And I'm like, all right, what's illegal with my car? Because typically that's how it goes when a tech guy comes up to you and tells you he's got to talk to you about something. We've had it happen to us before. And he's like, your front end's illegal. I was like, okay, what's illegal about the front end? He's like, well, there's a rule that says there's no one-piece front end. And I was like, all right, well, mine's 2-piece, so I feel like we're okay. Let's go ahead and talk about this and get it cleared up. So showed them the car. They had meetings with the tech guys. They cleared our front end, signed us off and said, you're good to race. You don't have to move to unlimited. Your car is legal. You know, we may modify the rule, move on to be a little more specific, but as far as the rule is written and your car is sitting, you're legal to run the class. So at that point, we're cool. We're cleared by the tech. Doesn't matter what anyone else says. We're good to race. Get up to the line, and you know, we hit the tires. 20, 30 feet out. I was always stuck on the starting line. Starting line was good, but about 50 feet out, the track was pretty beat up. And we don't have a lot of slow tune-ups in the car. Like, this car is only been racing since September, and every event we go to, like, you know, we have to be fast. So we haven't really had a lot of bad track data on it. So I was kind of happy about this, actually, because I knew that we had all day. I knew we were sitting decent spot. I know we had to make a fast run, but we didn't necessarily have to make a 650 pass. Run again, get a little further, hit the tires, run again, third run, same deal, get a little further, but now it's like, okay, we're close. You just didn't realize how much I had to turn the car down. Like, it makes so much horsepower so easy. Really had to take a lot of power out of it. At that point, we found out that the second place competitor hurt their engine and that they weren't gonna be able to fix it or continue. So then, you know, we started running the averages, and it's like, man, we're sitting really good now. The strategy now is to make it through the week. If we can maintain anything in the high 6s or even low 7s with the second place guy out and the third place guy so far back, you know, we can win our class. You know, as hard as it is to not try to go as fast as you can every pass to, you know, make the big numbers and get the, you know, the big hoorays. We decided to run the car one more time. I just wanted to make it under power all the way down the track to get the data, really, and then to probably hit the road. So put another tune-up in it, didn't spin the tires on like a high 1.360 foot, went through 7.0 at 210, and we handed in that slip. It kept our average still as like a 670 with the 7.0 because the first 2 days were so quick. We still now had a half a second or a little more lead over the new second place competitor. And we felt good driving back to Gainesville, we're driving to Gainesville for the 4th day. So packed up there, drove to Gainesville. That drive felt like we blinked our eyes. After the 8-hour drive from Bradenton to Valdosta, like, we went to Gainesville and we're like, wait, that's it? We're here? Like, it was awesome night. Easy drive, it was cool out, it was nighttime. You know, we got some cool rollers. I think that was the track we left, and some guys got some rollers on the highway of the car, and you know, it was a lot of fun. Day 4, we're in Gainesville. I know Gainesville isn't the best track in Florida for radial prep because they don't run there a lot, and when they do, it's NHRA racing. So going into the day, we knew it was going to be similar conditions to Georgia. And we also did the math on the averages for the week, right? So we knew where we were sitting in first place, where our second place guy was sitting. And then, you know, we found out that we were third overall. And, you know, we were pretty excited about that when we found out that there was even a separate class for the overall. I think Alex Taylor was behind us with a 690 average. So then, you know, now at this point, it's like we're going to try to stay in front of Alex Taylor, stay in front of Miguel, and then, you know, move into the last day. So it was like, man, what do we have to run? And it's like, I think we can just do a 690 pass, work off the tune-up we had yesterday, make it down, and still be in a great position without having to make a bunch of laps or lean on the car harder than necessary. So we made a pass. It went 690, cut the slip, and, you know, talked about it. Talked about it with Jim, talked about it with Joe, with Jay. You know, I wanted to run again because the track was actually pretty good. And I'm like, man, we can run a 660 here. I know it. And Joe and I got outvoted on running faster, and we decided to hand in the slip and play it smart, keep the car healthy, you know, one more drive, one more race, and then, you know, we're in the glory of winning these classes. So we went ahead and switched it over to street mode. We watched some of the other people race, trying to just time our drive, because now we left Gainesville and it took us out over to the beach and down through Daytona and then back over to Orlando, which was a fun drive, being able to cruise the car down by the beach and, you know, having all the people look at it and stuff. It's just one of the enjoyments of the drag and drive, going through the small towns. There's people like set up on the side of the road because they know it's coming through the town. It's just really a neat experience. Wake up the next morning and I'm like, okay, like this is it. We're here, we're in Orlando. We just have to make one more pass. The pass just had to be quicker than anything in the mid-7, I believe, would have kept our average and kept our position to where we were. Track was killer, it was cool out, and I managed to fight the urge, and I put the 690 tune-up back in it to just go down the racetrack, secure our win, and you know, kind of call it for the week. And we did that. Went 690 again. Car's dead consistent. That was it. At that point, we pretty much were, you know, unofficial wins for the classes that we did. It was almost impossible for the other competitors they would have to run a number that was way faster than they've been all week to get ahead of us. So we got back to the pits, you know, we're celebrating a little bit, and I'm like, nah, we're gonna run it again. We're in Orlando now. Like, if it breaks, we've already won. So put a hotter tune in the car again. We get out there, it's like slick prep, and everyone's like, oh, why you gonna run the car during slick prep? And I'm like, nah, this is fine for what we have in it. It's middle of the day, it's hot out, 1 o'clock, and, you know, car went through there like a 113 60 foot and went a 660 at 214, and you know, just brought our average down a little bit more. And man, what a way to end a week. Everyone else kind of finished running. You know, we know that we won our class and got third overall. That point we locked in our average at 674, which then we found out was the quickest average ever for a drag radial car on a drag and drive. So, you know, it's just like another victory for the week, for the platform, for everyone involved with the car, for us. It was really something special. Like, you know, won a lot of races, you know, at a single event or a track. You know, it's multiple days, but it's a single event. And to be able to put this week together with, you know, the 5 days, all of the driving, you know, we had some skeptics going into this. They didn't think the car could do it. I knew it can do it. Obviously, anything can happen. We weren't overconfident going into it, but we were prepared. And the preparation and the work really paid off from everyone that's been involved with getting this car together in the position it is, and the company, the selection of parts that are on the car for not failing and performing at their highest potential all week long. Heat soaked, it didn't matter. Like, you only have with you what you brought with the car, so there's no, you know, fans. I have like a little 12-volt Milwaukee fan I got setting on the motor just to make me feel better, I think, but I don't know that was actually doing anything. And it's flawless. It's still driving right now. We're gonna take it this weekend and race it again before we take the engine out, and then we're gonna tear the engine down and do a full teardown video of like every piece. Like, I'm really excited for that. It's going to be pretty exciting for the Fast Forward Racing Engines program that we have, and so everyone can see that, you know, this factory block, factory head, you know, factory crank Coyote is making 2,500 horsepower, 9,700 RPM for a week straight, and it's an engine that already had 40 passes on it before we even started sick week. So, like, you know, it's pretty exciting, to say the least. So we're done day 5, you know, we handed in our time slip, and that was it. So then we moved into the award ceremony at night, and it was a pretty cool surprise. Sick Week is an awesome event. Tom Bailey puts on an epic race that is really modern, fresh, and it's for the racer. It really is. Like, you know, he takes everyone's advice and then moves forward with it for the next year. And the whole week was awesome. So turns out we got a trophy and another prize for the classes I didn't even know about. Like for quickest overall, we won a guitar with a, you know, livery, a sick week on it. We won a helmet for the modified class, and then quickest forward. We ended up leaving there with like 5 awards. I couldn't even carry them all, and you know, it was pretty epic to be able to take the photos with the car. Of course, I had my winning shoes on. Thanks to Steve Kelly for providing those for me all those years back, and you know, it was an epic night.
So these are my winning shoes. They were a gift to me from a really good friend of mine, Steve Kelly. He was a pimp in Memphis. He still is, actually. And he had these shoes, and he's like, listen, I've cherished these shoes for a lot of years, and I feel like it's your time. When you earn your first 7-second pass in your car, it was my original Snot Rocket car, I'm gonna give you these shoes. Genuine snake. That's what it says on them.
Wow, they match the car too.
Exactly, it's meant to be.